Ce se întâmplă de fapt în spatele cortinei de fum care se ridică deasupra Ucrainei? Sunt multe zvonuri legate de acest conflict, dar este foarte greu de determinat ce este adevărat sau nu. Am văzut în timpul pandemiei că mașina propagandistă a presei occidentale mainstream nu poate fi de încredere și cel mai probabil Rusia are de asemenea propria mașină propagandistă. Avem în față site-ul oficial guvernamental al Ucrainei, care în decembrie 2021 a anunțat lansarea EP-Dreamca, adică ajutoare sociale digitale, în cadrul aplicației DIA, pe care puteți să o găsiți în magazinul de aplicații pe telefonul vostru. Prin această aplicație, ucrainienii primesc ajutor social în valoare de 1000 grivna pentru pagubele economice suferite din cauza pandemiei, iar accesul se face doar cu dovada certificatului verde de vaccinare COVID-19. Aplicația DIA a fost introdusă exact înainte să înceapă pandemia, adică septembrie 2019, prin noua aripă guvernamentală numită Ministerul Transformării Digitale, adică echivalentul Ministerului Cercetării și Inovării Digitalizării din România. În acest document legat de digitalizarea României este prezentat la pagina 10 următorul citat. În perioada 2021-2023 se va crea cadrul necesar pentru tranziția la economia și societatea digitală prin inovații și tehnologii relevante. Conform Wikipedia, prin aplicația DIA se pot accesa peste 50 de servicii guvernamentale și se plănuiește ca toate interacțiunile cu guvernul să se facă doar prin aceasta. Pe 3 martie 2021, Ucraina a anunțat că va plăti 6500 grivna pentru a acoperi pierderile de război prin programul EP-Dreamca. Programul de ajutor social vine cu un card și acest site ne prezintă cum cetățenii pot accesa fondurile. Pasul 1. Obțineți cardul special pentru ajutoare sociale digitale în aplicația bancară. Pasul 2. Downloadează aplicația DIA și loghează-te. Pasul 3. Trebuie să ai la îndemână certificatul verde COVID. Deci se pare că cam asta se ascunde în spatele conflictului din Ucraina. Suport financiar digital care va facilita moneda digitală și guvernarea digitală. Dacă se va adopta unanim acest sistem digital, nu vei putea să faci nimic dacă nu ai aplicația digitală pe telefon și identitatea digitală, la care vor avea acces doar cei ce se supun condițiilor guvernului și a celor ce îl controlează, similar cu sistemul social de credite din China comunistă.
MasterCard and the United Nations are joining forces to monitor the carbon effect of your credit card purchases. And then you'll hit your carbon max and it'll stop working. Hey, of course it's voluntary for now. The new credit card is called Doconomy. And on the back of the card, it's going to say, I am taking responsibility for every transaction I make to help protect the planet. This is a social credit score, and it's a proof of concept. The Doconomy CO2 credit card website claims it is the largest initiative ever taken by a bank in educating its users on the impact of consumption. They say themselves they want to set a global standard for carbon calculations. That's the key. Once they have their numbers in place, then they can give every single purchase you make a score and punish you directly. This is what China does. And of course, this will only be enforced on you and me and any businesses that don't go along with their scheme. And banks are going to enforce it.
Există tot felul de zvonuri că în Ucraina ar fi neonaziști, ceea ce este foarte probabil, acesta fiind motivul pentru care Rusia a inițiat conflictul. Îmi pare mie că este aceeași placă jucată în al doilea război mondial, unde Germania nazistă se lupta cu Rusia comunistă, din care a ieșit câștigător cartelul internațional bancar, pentru că imediat după conflict a fost înființat Fondul Monetar de Investiții și a avut loc acordul de la Bretton Woods. Conform definiției oficiale, Fondul Monetar de Investiții este o agenție specializată a Națiunilor Unite. Dar și mai important este să observați cum totul este implementat cu consimțământul fiecăruia, pentru că nimeni nu te va forța să accesezi astfel de fonduri digitale decât nevoia. Deci este necesară doar o criză care să afecteze anumite sectoare ale populației. Prima criză a fost ciuma metaforică sau calul alb al apocalipsei, care a pus primele baze a consimțământului de aderență la noul sistem digital. Acum se pare că avem de-a face cu calul roșu, simbolul războiului, care va afecta și determina și mai mulți să consimtă la noul sistem digital care este în plină expansiune. Deci poate doar voința de a construi comunități autonome și sisteme de autoguvernare ar putea oferi un refugiu pentru a nu fi nevoiți să aderăm la noua ordine mondială.
But right now, it's a critical time because we know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order.
60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and That hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there.
Urmează un video care prezintă cum poate fi folosită moneda digitală în scopuri de control absolut.
So the UK is currently the head of the G7 group. That's the world's most economically advanced countries. And the UK currently chairs the G7 group. Our Chancellor, who does our economy, called Chancellor of the Exchequer, his name's Rishi Sunak. He put out this video saying that what they want to do is bring in this thing called the central banking digital currency. They want to replace fiat paper money with digital money as a competitor to Bitcoin and crypto money, right? But instead of being decentralized currency, it will be controlled by a government. It's digital currency, but controlled centrally through the banks, Bank of England. So instead of having a bank account with whatever, HSBC or Bank of America, you'll have a bank account directly with, in the American context, with the Fed. In the UK, directly with the Bank of England. You have a personal bank account, and you're given digital money in that bank account. These are called central banking digital currencies. The Chancellor of the Exchequer in the UK has already announced their intention to do this as the G7 group. And these, if you look up...
this sounds terrifying.
If you look up the Telegraph newspaper...
Central bank digital currency, is that the one down below?
Digital currency should be programmable. See that one there? Yeah? Now, what they're doing is they're saying, you know, everyone knows that with inflation at over 5%, it's now 5.4%, right? Our fiat money, the paper money, is increasingly becoming worthless, and we're headed towards a big disaster. The Fed wants to raise interest rates. But we're in so much debt that if you raise interest rates, people are going to suffer because we're living on debt as Western economies. So they realize that this kind of the lifespan of paper money is fast coming to an end because of the 2008 economic crash in particular. So they're bringing in these central banking digital currencies. Why is that word programmable in there? So what they said in that article, and the Chancellor put a video out saying this as well, they've said that this money that you will earn from work, instead of having paper money, you have this digital money. It's programmable so that you can't buy certain foods, or if you do something that your employer doesn't like, it's all in that article. You won't be able to spend your money. In other words, it's not money. They're vouchers. They're like food vouchers. And they can be programmed so that, like the Chinese social credit system, that if you try and use them on a certain thing, it won't work. You say you want to buy a burger and they want you to buy bugs, which is one of the examples used. If you start to try and buy unhealthy meat, it just won't work. You tap your card, you can't buy the thing because you've met your quota that month of burgers. You have to buy something like a vegan meal.
So it won't just be money in the sense of the way we have dollars or pounds today.
Yeah.
It'll be something that's controlled in terms of your ability to distribute it.
Which is why I'm calling it a voucher. It's a coupon.
But even a coupon, if you have a coupon to buy bread, you can still buy the bread.
Yeah.
Like, there's
But
no...
you can't buy... See, that coupon to buy bread, what you can't do is buy a burger with that coupon. It's for bread.
Right.
Yeah?
Right. Do you feel like you're sounding the alarm
Yes.
for people that don't understand what is going on?
So here, I'll put it up for you here, yeah? So there's the video.
The group of the world's 7 most advanced economies, the G7, is launching a set of public policy principles for retail central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies could be a digital version of money, a bit like a digital banknote.
Right, so that's the guy who runs our economy in the UK. His name's the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And here is the article. Bank of England tells ministers to intervene on digital currency programming, yeah? And here's a quote from the article. Digital cash could be programmed to ensure it is only spent on essentials or goods which an employer or government deems to be sensible.
Holy shit.
I'm going to take it one step further for you, Joe, right? So the checkpoint Charlie exists everywhere. They bring in digital banking, central banking digital currencies. You've got a scenario now that you're checking in and out everywhere you go using vouchers that are programmed, and you can only spend where you're told you can spend them. There's another word for that, man. That's called the Chinese social credit system. So what they are telling us, and when I say they, who's they? People in power. That's the head of our economy, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, second most powerful person other than the Prime Minister and maybe the Foreign Secretary in the UK, right? He's telling us, I just played it there for you, he's telling us that's what he, as the UK, the head of the G7, want to bring in for the G7. And if I'm speaking to you the way I'm speaking now, and my employer or government, you heard that in the quote directly, yeah, deems me as saying or doing something inappropriate, suddenly I can't actually pay to come here and speak to you anymore. My digital currency won't even pay for the ticket, because it will be known that I'm coming to speak to you. Sorry, your vouchers don't allow you to purchase that ticket to go and speak to Joe.
And this is where we get into the kind of censorship that we see in social media that is not, you can't have that kind of censorship with the First Amendment in normal discourse. But you can have that kind of censorship if you've developed a digital platform that distributes information, but it's a private company.
Yeah.
So think about what money is, where you can spend it on whatever you want, versus this digital currency, which is essentially controlled in a sense, like you have free speech on Twitter, but you really don't. Because if you go too far or you talk about something that they don't find appropriate, they'll just ban your account. That could be what we're looking at in terms of what we think of as free speech being social media platforms, could be what we think of as your free range ability to buy whatever you want with whatever money that you've earned.